Have you ever imagined a day when the heavens would break their silence? A day when mercy transformed into blazing fire, and the Almighty Himself descended, not as a gentle father, but as a mighty warrior. This is the forgotten story of when God put on armor, when the Creator stepped onto the battlefield to defend His people with His own hands. This is the day the Lord of hosts came down, and the very earth trembled before His presence. Long ago, the nation of Israel stood surrounded. Enemies pressed in from every side, armies of giants, nations that openly mocked the name of the living God. The people were gripped by terror. Their weapons were few, their courage fading like the last light of a dying day. It seemed as if all hope was lost, but then something shifted. The heavens opened. The prophets felt the ground quake beneath their feet. A voice too powerful for mortal ears echoed on the wind, declaring, "For the Lord will rise up as in Mount Perazim. He will be angry as in the valley of Gibeon, that He may do His strange work, His awesome act." And in that moment, the impossible happened. The Almighty Himself stepped into the war. The clouds darkened, but not with rain. They were His chariot. Lightning struck not by chance, but by His direct command. The sound of thunder became the sound of His footsteps, and a fire blazed before Him, consuming His enemies in an instant. The prophet Isaiah saw it clearly. The Lord marched out like a mighty warrior, like a man of war. He stirred up His zeal. He shouted, He raised a battle cry and triumphed over His enemies. Imagine the scene. The sky splits open, and behind Him the armies of heaven descend, a celestial force beyond human comprehension. No sword forged by man could ever compare to the righteous fire that burned in His eyes. The King of Glory rode into battle, not to destroy His own people, but to fiercely defend them. Every arrow aimed at the faithful was turned back upon the archer. Every curse spoken against God's children was shattered in mid-air. Why? Because the battle no longer belonged to men. It belonged to the Lord of hosts, the commander of heaven's armies. And when He fights, no power in heaven, on earth, or in hell can stand against Him. The Scriptures paint this moment in powerful, symbolic visions: chariots of flame, thrones of fire, rivers of lightning. But for those who witnessed it, these were not mere symbols. They saw raw, unfiltered glory. Mountains melted like wax before His feet. The sun itself seemed to hide its face in reverence, and the enemies of God scattered like dust in a storm. For centuries, this powerful image of God as a warrior has been overlooked, almost forgotten. We often picture Him as soft, distant, or exclusively gentle. But the same God who offers boundless forgiveness is also the God who fights for justice. He fought for Israel at the Red Sea. He fought for David against Goliath. He fought for Daniel in the lion's den, shutting the mouths of the beasts. And that same warrior God is still fighting for you today. When injustice rises up against you, when darkness surrounds you and threatens to overwhelm you, when the enemy whispers lies in your ear, telling you that it's all over, that is precisely when the warrior of heaven draws near. You may not see Him with your physical eyes, but you will feel the ground shake in the spirit. You will feel the walls of your prison begin to crumble and break. Because when He decides to move, no chain can hold you, and no obstacle can stand in His way. The Bible makes it unequivocally clear: the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is His name. That's not a metaphor from a bygone era. It's a declaration of His character. The same fire that burned on Mount Sinai still burns today for His people. The same power that split the Red Sea for Moses now parts the storms raging in your life. When you cry out in desperation, "Lord, defend me," He doesn't just send a messenger or an angel. He rises Himself. And when He rises, the forces of darkness tremble. They remember that day, the day God descended as a warrior. They remember the overwhelming power and the blinding glory. The Apostle Paul tells us he wears righteousness as his armor and salvation as his helmet. He wraps himself in a cloak of vengeance, Not a cruel human vengeance, but a holy fury dedicated to crushing every force that threatens his beloved children. The Lion of Judah roars again, and the enemy flees before the sound of his voice. Even now, as we speak, the heavens are preparing for his final descent, because one last time he will rise. Not to bring harm to his people, but to end the reign of evil and injustice forever. The book of Revelation gives us a stunning preview. Then I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. The one sitting on it is called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he judges and makes war. The same voice that silenced the raging waters of the Red Sea will soon silence the rebellion of nations. The same holy fire that defended Israel in the wilderness will burn through the armies of darkness once and for all. And on that final glorious day, he will descend again, not just as a defender, but as the conquering warrior king. So if you feel surrounded today, if your soul feels like it's under relentless attack, I want you to remember this truth. The battle is not yours. It belongs to him. God does not stand idly by when his children cry out for help. He moves, he fights, he conquers. And when the Lord descends as a warrior, hell itself falls silent. Thank you so much for joining me on this powerful journey today. If this message resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next video. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, stay strong and remember who fights for you.